I have found a great mod today on the Steam Workshop. Copium Universalis. Do you ever feel like EU4 is just too unfair to the player? As if the AI knows every move you make and always gets the best advantages? This mod fixes all of that and helps you fight a copium overdose that one might contract playing this game. Subscribe to the channel and let me display some of this mod's great features in a list. Starting with number 7. When playing EU4, one of the most frustrating things that can happen is a level 6 fort blocking your way to victory by having to spend 600 days sieging it. That's why I have decided to simply remove all of them, except for capital forts. This solves hours of brain hemorrhaging staring at 71% forts not falling. Being an ancient game from 2013, EU4 can run quite horribly sometimes. Hence, I have decided to remove some practically useless landmasses from the game to save some valuable RAM on your computer, namely Australia and New Zealand. I bet that most players won't even know the giant landmasses have disappeared, only by the increase of performance possibly. And by the way, if you have any other locations that you want to see removed because they are useless, let me know in the comments and I will see if I can add them or remove them basically. A core element of the game is the system of institutions. You probably already know how they work. If you meet certain prerequisites, it spawns in a province in your country that meets said prerequisites. But I think some of these conditions are total bullshit and kind of Eurocentric. I know the game is called Europa Universalis, but still. Therefore, I have massively relaxed the terms for an institution to spawn in your country, removing, most importantly, the region-specific requirements. Here, for example, Renaissance spawned in the middle of Africa. Nice. Most decisions are kind of bland in my opinion. They add very small, maybe even useless bonuses to the country. That's why I've added some interesting decisions to the game, to spice it up a little bit. Conscript the kids adds an enormous amount of manpower to your country by, you guessed it, getting all the kids in your country in your army. This does, however, give you a small debuff modifier. But hey, 50k manpower is worth it, right? Or this decision, for the good old papal states. Tax the poor allows the Pope to massively increase the taxation rate of his subjects. Of course, because he is the most important Christian on earth. There might be some resistance, but the money must be worth it. EU4 contains an incredible amount of countries you can play as, but one country might be a little redundant. Possibly because it gets so much hate on the internet. Can you guess which country it is? France has been completely removed. I hope this fixes the frustration that some players experience while playing this game. And for the crazy people that do like France, it is still possible to form them. You can use their former subjects to achieve that, but I don't know how easy that is, seeing as you're surrounded by much stronger foes. The Ottomans. Do they scare you? Now you might think I've removed them, like France, but no. The pesky strait crossings have instead been totally filled in. Now the Byzantines won't be able to cheese their way into a victory against the Ottomans by sieging the fort and blockading the army from crossing. The downside for the Ottomans is that their fleet now remains trapped forever in the newly created artificial lake. Finally, last but not least, let's move on to the combat part of the game. As you know, the more the game progresses, the more unrealistic the combat gets. That's why I have tweaked the stats of all units a little bit. Combat will feel much more realistic, not taking weeks to complete and instead only being a few days. Thus, you need to be way more careful in your campaigns, or you might just be crushed. Take a look at this battle for example. I totally stack wiped them. And it was very short and deadly. Now that is because I have tweaked all the pips a little bit, and with a little bit I mean that they have all been doubled from the original size. Look at this. I think I've shown enough features, maybe because those were all the features, doesn't matter. Bruh. This is actually my mod. Check it out on the Steam Workshop via the link in the description. If you have any features you think should be added or removed, make sure to write it in the comments. Other than that, like, subscribe, and until the next video.